Are you currently in the space of making or avoiding making New Year's resolutions? Setting goals, making declarations of intent. It is the first year and the first week of 2021. New decade, new week. And at this time of the year, I have so many people coming to me and thinking about making these goals, deciding what they're going to change, looking back at, the last year, the last few weeks, and determining to do something different. Or determining not to set goals, not to make changes. In fact, a friend of mine posted on Facebook this week. They said, I'm not making big changes. We've had enough of those last year. I'm not making promises that I have little chance of keeping. And I think there's something really telling in that. So today, if you are thinking about making or determined to not make New Year's resolutions, to set goals, to declare your intent for change, but you are actually interested in changing, then this video is for you. I want to share a little bit today about my thoughts about separating out your identity, your character, who you are, from your habits. Perhaps a more helpful way to look back at your past, and to give you an overview of how to set goals, declare intentions, in a way that actually is conducive to achieving them, that actually makes them part of your life. For those that don't know me, hi, I'm Brian. I'm a life coach and a weight loss coach, and I help people sort out the stuff in their lives that's leading to their unhealthy behaviors, so that they can also sort out the issues with their weight. I help people get off the weight loss roller coaster, stop overeating, stop emotional eating, and retrain their habits so they can create the healthy life they actually love living. So, if you're looking at the last pieces of 2020, we're looking back over the year, and perhaps you've got some regret or disappointment. Perhaps you had that experience in the past where you've set goals, you've declared your dreams, your intentions, and not reached them. And if that's true, you're not alone. I have too. But I want you to know that your choices, your habits, don't define who you are. You are not your habits. Your habits are simply your history. They are the choices that you have made, not who you are. They're the choices that you've made in the past, right? It's what you have done. And very often, they're the automatic reactions that you've learned and trained in and practiced until they no longer require conscious thought. It's really all that a habit is, a choice repeated until it becomes automatic. However, they don't define you. So many people avoid setting goals at this time of year, setting New Year's resolutions, and for a couple of reasons. One, maybe you're a questioner, like me. If you know the four tendencies, questioners like me go, January 1st, it's first week of a new year, it's arbitrary. Why should I do it now? I can make goals, intentions, declarations at any time. Great. So if that's you, okay, then know that you've probably already got some goals happening. You've got your declarations met. You already know what you're working on. Bravo. Let's keep working on them. But if you're avoiding it because you've let yourself down, because you're disappointed in yourself, because you've failed before, I want to offer for you that chances are you either didn't set those goals in a way that was realistic for your life, that was actually achievable, or you didn't set ones that were really meaningful for you, that you were actually committed to doing. And so often, we think I just need to be more committed, more disciplined, more focused. I actually don't think that's the answer. I think our motivation waxes and wanes. You know, for anyone who's been overeating over Christmas or New Year, had too much, drank too much, all of these sorts of things, very often you kind of feel bad afterwards. Maybe we'll beat ourselves up about those choices. And we want to get out of that. So we make the declaration to never again, or to do it differently. This year will be the year. But so often we don't go through and actually make a plan for how that works. We don't look at what are the habits that we want to keep. What are the habits that need to change? What are the new skills and abilities we need to train in? And then go about them one at a time. So don't make the mistake of letting your past habits, your choices, define your character. Just because you didn't achieve them, or you've been doing something that hasn't been helping your health and well-being, doesn't mean you aren't worthy. Doesn't mean that you're no good, that you're hopeless, that you're powerless, that you can't do it. That's completely backwards. No, you just have habits that you've already trained in. And you've practiced them. Gotten very good at it. Probably didn't even have to think about most of them. That's awesome. That means you have the skill already that you need to create new ones. You haven't learnt how to do that effectively, purposefully, deliberately yet. So the first thing is just to make sure that you remember you are not your habits. They do not define you or your character. They are simply skills or choices that you've automated, that you've practiced. And they are available for you to change at any time you want to. Isn't that fun to know? You can actually change them at any time. You get to decide who you are. And by the way, no one can tell you that you're wrong. So if you've got some unhelpful thoughts, you've got some unhelpful identity issues. For me it used to be, I'm fat, I'm lazy, I'm no good at, can't do it. I just thought those things were true about me. Until I actually started making changes I could live with, because before I decided that I'm going to transform, that I'm going to take responsibility for my health and well-being. Now, when I did that, I joined up to a program. Back in the day, I went to Weight Watchers, as it was, and I committed to making change. And then I followed the program. I integrated the skills. I learned how to do it. But in the end, I realized it's not the program. It's the way I changed. The fact that I decided to become a healthy person. To realize that I was a healthy person with some unhealthy habits. You get to decide who you are, and no one can tell you that you're wrong. So what I want to ask you today is what you've been deciding about you so far helping? And if not, would you like to change it? If yes, then know that there's processes and there's things that we can do together to help you do that. But the short answer is, you just get to decide to make a different choice. You can just decide, this is who I am now. Even if you don't know how. Even if you don't know exactly what to do or exactly how to go about doing it. You can start with the declaration. You can start by changing your identity. And then you can start to identify what are the habits that are helping? What are the habits that are getting in my way? What are the decisions that I've been making that have been preventing me from becoming who I wanted to be, from having the health and wellness that I've wanted? And we can start to change them one at a time. So my first tip for today is with curiosity, with a neutral approach, with a lack of judgment, right? So often what we do is we look back on our habits and we judge ourselves for having them. That's very unproductive, by the way. It doesn't help. It just keeps you stuck. It makes it about you and your character instead of This is just a skill I've acquired. This is just a choice I've practiced repeatedly. So can you come without judgment, instead with curiosity? I like to call this evaluating instead of judging. Right? Can we look back at the behaviors you have been practicing and decide? In fact, I sometimes think it's helpful. I really encourage everyone to make a list here. I sometimes call this the habit change inventory. You can write down, here are all of the habits that I have that I'd like to keep. Here are the ones that are helping. I want to do more of these. And here are habits I have now, choices I've been making, decisions that I routinely do, that I'd like to stop doing, or I'd like to scale back. I'd like to limit. And here are some other habits, maybe healthier habits, that I'm not currently doing, that I'd like to start. Start, stop, or continue. Really, every one of your choices, every one of your decisions, every one of the habits that you already have can fall in one of those three categories. And it's very helpful to get specific, to write them down, to know which one it actually falls into. So I really encourage you to do that. Make some lists. What are the habits I want to continue? What are the habits I want to stop? And what are the habits I want to start? Get very detailed here. Really get specific. Write them down in as much detail as you can. Try not to do vague things like eat healthier, exercise more, stop overeating. Get more detailed. Get really specific in your life. What would eating healthier look like? What choices might you be making? What kinds of foods? In what kind of proportions? What kind of portion size will you be having? Will you be listening to your hunger signals and stopping when you're satisfied? How will you manage indulgences, treats, special occasions? Why are you eating now? Now, again, we can get into a lot of depth here. And of course, that's what we do in coaching. So if you've got lots of things going on, you're not really sure, that's a place to reach out. Let's get some help. Post in the group or reach out to me and let's have a conversation about what's actually getting in your way, so we can figure out what are the things you want to change. But you can do this, right? The trick is to evaluate from a neutral position. So just get curious. What am I doing that's working? What didn't work? What would I like to do different? And while it's still kind of fresh, if you're watching this live, if you're watching this at the time of recording, first week of January 2021, then look back over Christmas, look back over New Year's, and really ask yourself those questions. What are my holiday habits? What are my habits over Christmas and New Year? How many of those happen in my normal life, every day, every week, every month? Or are they just special occasions and holiday habits? Often when I'm working with people creating healthy weight loss routines or healthy living routines, that they divide them into normal everyday time and holiday time. Weekends, special occasions, birthdays, travel, holidays. And I don't think that distinction is useful apart from decide, yes, I have routines here and I have routines here. It's not, I have routines in my normal life and I don't have routines the rest of the time. Yes, you do. But you might have the habit of not planning, grabbing whatever, going with the flow. Or here are the things we normally do on our holidays or on our birthdays or at a social gathering. You have habits. If you think you don't, you're just not bringing your awareness to them. You haven't brought your awareness to them yet, so I invite you to do so. And really, once you can look at that, once you can just be curious about yourself, not judgmental, and just notice, what are my current habits? What do I want to change? And then break each one of those down that you do want to change, you want to start or stop, into its component steps. I'm assuming the continue ones you already know, you're doing them, keep doing them. For the others, break them down in their component steps, right? So often we fail to achieve our goals. Research shows that by the third week of January, about 50% of people who set a New Year's resolution have given up on it. And by the end of January, something like it's 80 or 90% have given up on it. By 12 weeks through the year, only about I think it's 1 to 4% of people are actually still going with the habits, right? With their resolutions. And the reason we do that is because we don't make the changes easy. We don't think about how we're going to incorporate them into our existing life. And that's really key, right? We have to think about, what do I do when I'm not motivated? Right? Maybe right now you're keen, you're excited, you're determined, right? You're fresh off a holiday, or you've got the past experience that you regret, that you really want to get out of, and you're motivated. Motivation is high now. But maybe this week you've returned to work. Maybe you're returning to work soon. Maybe you're getting back into the regular routine. And all of our hopes and dreams start to go out the window because we didn't plan how to make those changes in our current life. So I really truly believe you have to make them realistic. The easier and smaller you can make the change, the more likely it is that you can actually follow through with it, even with low motivation. And that way it becomes a part of your life. My philosophy is 1 small change a week that you can live with. 1 small behavior at a time. So if you've got your 3 lists, habits to continue, habits to stop, and habits to start, then I really invite you to pick only 1 of those at a time. Write them all down, post them somewhere you're going to see them. This is your work. This is your path to success. This is the change you actually want to make. And remember, it's not fixed in stone. You didn't carve them, in slate, unless you did. But you can change them, adjust them, adapt them as you go along, as you learn. And this is the part that's really key, staying flexible, right? Make it easy. This increases your ability to actually follow through on your goals. So make it easy. And then connect to why it matters. What is your motivation for actually making this change? What difference will it make for you in your life? Why do you care about that? Why does it matter? What happens if you do make this change? What happens if you don't? When you're making these and looking for your motivation, I want to give you 1 word of caution, if you like, here. And that is, watch out for, I want to make this change so I can feel better about myself. So I can be proud of myself, so that I can feel like I'm good enough, so I can be attractive enough, so that I can be okay, fixed. All of those judgments are things that you actually come from your thinking, right? It's a mistake to think it'll be better over there. The grass will always be easier, right? It'll always be greener. I'll feel better when. No, if you want to feel better, that's available to you now, because how you feel comes from your thinking. You get to decide, I am amazing now, and I'm making this change. As I said before, I'm a healthy person. You make the direct relation. It starts with the belief. Change your identity first. I am attractive. I am fit. I am healthy. I am amazing at making changes. I am a powerful force in my life. I am the owner and the creator of my experience. Happens to be true, by the way. I am worthy of my success. You can decide it now. And from that place, then you can create change. So, if you've got something so I can feel better about myself, my advice for you is you've got it backwards. Let's find the thoughts that help you feel better about yourself now, and then make the change because you want to, because you can love yourself forward, because you care enough about you, you like yourself enough to look after you, to make these healthier choices. That's a powerful switch. And in my experience, for over 12 years now, I've helped people make healthy changes to their lives. And it's always that way when it works. You make the choice first, and then make the change from the place of loving yourself enough. Not making the change so that you can love yourself. I know that from experience because for most of my life, I was trying to do it the other way. I was trying to get healthy, get fit, eat better, look after myself better, achieve more, so that I could like myself. And so I tried every diet under the sun, I've tried everything. It was only when I decided I like myself enough, right? No one else is going to do it for me. I have to be the one to do it. I have to decide. Once I decided, then I can make the change. Alrighty, moving along. So change from the place of caring enough about yourself. And remember, it's available to you now. You just have to choose. You just have to decide. You can take action today. So once you have your lists, post them up somewhere where you can see them. And then simply choose one from one of those 3 lists. Or if you like, choose one from each list. A habit to continue, a habit to stop, a habit to start. And commit to practicing that one thing today. If you can't do all of it, break it down into steps. Here's one step towards doing this that I can do today. And simply do that and celebrate. Now remember, if you are creating a new habit, definitely break down the steps into smaller and smaller pieces until it's so easy you can scoff at it. Of course I can do that. Good. You aren't doing it at the moment, so let's do that. Choose one thing. And then remember, you need a prompt or a cue, a trigger, to remind you to do it. So you might want to link this to another behavior you already have, or you might want to put some post-it notes around, set a reminder on the phone, tell the family and friends, tell 20 people what you're doing, so that they ask you how it's going. Set up reminders. Don't assume that you're going to remember or you're just going to do it. If you don't have the habit already, you probably aren't going to do it. That will be the habit, to not do it. So if it's a new one, you have to have some way to remind yourself. Remember, get specific about your action. What's the first step? Scale it back until it's realistic. And then take that action. And finally, remember to celebrate. Give yourself a high five or a thumbs up or a good job. Doing this will tell your brain that it's important and to do it again. It is the sense of accomplishment, that sense of pride in yourself, that sense of achievement. You know how it feels, right? When you actually do something, follow through, it feels good. And that little hit of dopamine in your brain tells your neurons to keep wiring. Ooh, that behavior was good, wire it in some more. You'll be much more likely to repeat it. So don't forget to celebrate your success, no matter how small the change was. If it's a step towards the life you want, give yourself the acknowledgement. Finally today, I want to remind you that your goals, your dreams, and your ideal life does not live in your past. So don't go looking for evidence there of what's possible. Your goals, your dreams, your ideal life. Either you're living it now, in which case, awesome job you, keep it up. If it's not there yet, it's in your future. And that hasn't been decided yet. So it really is possible for you. And remember that our past results, our past outcomes, our past experience was the result of our past decisions, our past habits. And it is only in this moment, right now, the present, that we create our future. So it is the habits that you practice today that will create the future for you tomorrow. Well, I hope this video has been helpful for you. And if you do need some more help, you're ready to start the new year with some healthy new habits, join my Back on Track 5-day kickstart. It's happening from January 18th to 22nd. If you're watching this on replay after that time, then still click on the link. You might be directed to a waitlist or the next time that I run the Back on Track challenge. I do run it frequently throughout the year. Let's start with 5 foundational habits that really, truly you can integrate. And I'm going to go into detail about how to make them part of your life. Let's get you on the journey to where you want to be. So click on the link around this video, above or below in the description, so that you can register for Back on Track. 5 days of healthy habits. Join me. If you'd like more help, reach out to me at livemorelife.com.au. I have some spaces available for exploratory one-on-one consultations. Let's have a chat about what help you need and see if working together would be a good fit. All right. For now, take action. Make your lists. What am I continuing? What am I stopping? What am I starting? Break them down into steps and post them where you can see them. Pick one to start on today. Let's make it easy on yourself. Let's take motivation as much out of the picture as possible, right? So it's not required. And then let's make sure you're keeping a neutral mind, looking back and evaluating what worked, what didn't, what will I do differently, so that you can keep stepping forward with love. Alright, I hope this has been helpful. If it has, give me a like, give me a comment, let me know what habit you're working on now. Or if you'd like some help, reach out and I'll see you in the Back on Track Kickstart. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.